Good day, everybody. Yeah, you're welcome once again to the broadcast, to GMC Crew broadcast. You are 100% welcome. And I want to quickly say this: all my viewers, please, I beg you in the name of God, if you are watching me for the first time, I thank you. And if you've been watching me before, I still thank you. But I want to use the opportunity to plead, please and please subscribe to my channel, like and share my video so that my YouTube channel can also grow. I beg you in the name of God, just support me by liking and sharing my video, comment, do anything. Just send a topic to me so that I can deliberate on it as well. Please and please, this is the only way you can still support me. I am still your boy, your friend, Harmony. So what we are going to be talking about today is about a post that I stumbled across today. George Ford was brutally murdered by a police officer, and it really pains me. We will be talking about the brutality of blacks all over the whole world. Why are they trying to put the people of color underground? They are eliminating the black race. We don't really know why these people are doing this. We don't know. They are killing blacks everywhere. Will you imagine the numbers of blacks that they've killed? The ones we know, the ones we do not know, the ones we see and the ones we do not see. These are uncountable numbers. Today I will be giving you the names of the police that killed these people and what the government are doing about it. If they were tried, I will still give you the details, because we've come to discover that even when a policeman kills an African or a black American, as far as that person is a black man or a woman, nothing is being done about their case. Nothing is being done about the issue. So let's go on with this. So today I discovered that George Floyd was murdered. The Minneapolis policeman described how Derek Chauvin beat and shot him at close range during a domestic violence. That is an incident that happened in 2008. So all these things led to the killing of an innocent, young, vibrant man that has a bright future. This man has a bright future. He was living well, and all of a sudden his life was cut short. The Minneapolis cop who called George Ford by kneeling on his neck during an arrest almost killed another black man. Can you see? He almost killed another black man during a domestic violence. A domestic violence call 2 years ago. Alarming details about Officer Derek Chauvin. This is the name of the officer that almost killed another person in about 12 years ago. Derek Kelvin. Long history, alarming details about Officer Derek Kelvin's long history of use of force incident have flooded out in the wake of George Floyd's death on Monday night. You see, George Floyd was killed on Monday night, and George Floyd's killing was not the first killing. This man has been killing people. He has been making an attempt to assassinate people of color. He has been making an attempt to assassinate the black race. We don't really know what is going on. And this is not an accidental case. This is complete murder. This guy is a monster. He does not deserve to be in the police department. His department is supposed to be in a jail. So I'm using this opportunity to plead on all government authorities that are handling this issue. All those policemen that were there, that witnessed it, all of them, they planned the execution of this young man. That is not an arrest. I watched it and I shed tears. It really pained me. I felt a lot of pain in my heart. When I watched this video, I couldn't just hold myself. This guy was shouting, he was crying. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. My neck, I feel pain. I feel pain in my waist. I feel pain in my back. I feel pain. I can't breathe. Okay, can I get some water to drink? I can't really breathe. This guy was shouting, but nobody listened. The police didn't pay attention. He intentionally murdered this guy. He intentionally murdered George. A viral video captured the moment Kelvin pressed his knee into Ford's neck while the handcuffed suspect repeatedly cried out that he couldn't breathe and immediately suffocated. At that particular point, why are people heartless? Why did the government choose to recruit animals that will turn into weapons? Police of such are not meant to be recruited. They are meant to be in a jail. And this is not the beginning. This man will still kill if he's still left out there to live on the surface of the earth freely. He will kill more. Now I want to tell you, George is not the first that have been killed. So many other black men, so many other black Americans, African Americans have been killed as well. When Michael Brown was shot to death by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, in August 2014, it awakened a movement that began with the previous killing of another black teenager, Tavon Mountain, who was shot in 2012 by neighborhood watch volunteer George Zimmerman. Brown's death was not the first of its kind since just a month pro, Eric Garner died after being placed in a chokehold by the NYPD officers. Both deaths sparked protests across the country. Protests that were renewed when grand juries declined to charge the officer involved in this case. sometimes when this issue happens, the authorities, they makes it more miserable by not doing anything concerning these issues. Yes, the national cry out has cast light on similar case from the past year, some leading to charges against the police officer involved. Others were not. Some of the protests that were made as a result of the killing of these black people lead to the charges against the police officers that were involved in this shooting. But there were still some of them that were never being charged, and nothing was done about their cases. So here's the breakdown when the killing happened and their outcomes. Well, so many things have really been happening, and it is high time that the authorities deal with these issues. April 30th, 2014, Dontre Hamilton was murdered. This young innocent man was murdered. Dontre Hamilton was 31 years old. He was fatally shot 14 times by a police officer in Milwaukee Park. The officer was responding to a call from employee at the nearby Starbucks alleging that Hamilton, who had been diagnosed with paranoid issues, was disturbing the peace. The officer who arrived first determined that Hamilton wasn't doing anything illegal. Officer Christopher Mene showed up later, and after trying to pat Hamilton down, engaged in a struggling with him that led to the shooting. Mane was not charged. Hamilton's mother, Maria Hamilton, is organizing a march in Washington, D.C. on May 9 to call for justice. July 17, 2014, Eric Garner, New York. Eric Garner was 43 years old. He was killed after he was put in an illegal chokehold for 15 seconds by a white police officer, allegedly for selling Lowe's cigarettes. Garner said, "I can't breathe." Imagine when somebody is begging for his life. Even when he said, "I can't breathe," they didn't even listen to him. They didn't even pay attention to if he's dying or not. They didn't do anything. Garner said, "I can't breathe" 11 times as he was held down by several officers on a sidewalk. The officer who put Garner in the chokehold, Daniel Pantaleo, was not charged. Nothing was done about that. Nothing was completely done. He did it and he went scot-free. Garner's death sparked peaceful protest across the nation. with demonstration, demonstrator adopting the phrase "I can't breathe" as a symbol and slogan of protest. It pains when a vibrant, innocent person is being put to rest and nothing ever being done about it. August 5th, 2015, John Crawford III was murdered. John Crawford was just 22 years old and killed by a police officer at Weymouth in Bava Creek, Ohio. There did not appear to be a confrontation with the police, and Crawford was unarmed. He had been holding a toy BB gun. The officer involved in the shooting, Sean Williams and David Dacour, was not charged. That is another death. That is how they have been killing everybody. It didn't stop there. August 9, 2014, Michael Brown, Jr., was killed. Unarmed Michael Brown was 18 years old and killed by Ferguson police officers, Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson took the life of an 18 years vibrant young boy who had a bright future. This young boy had a bright future. Only God knows what would have become of him when he grew up. In November, a grand jury declined to charge Wilson in the fatal shooting. Brown's death and the lack of charge against Wilson sparked protest from some of them violent in Ferguson and across the nation. And as it did not stop there, on March 4th, the Department of Justice announced that it too would not charge Wilson for the shooting after an exhaustive investigation. Just imagine, they killed an 18 years old boy, young boy, and the Department of Justice announced that they would not charge Wilson, which is the shooter, the killer, the mustar. They will not charge him for shooting after an exhaustive investigation. What a mess. What a mess. They know what they are doing. They've planned it and they've strategized that they will continue to kill all the bright, futuristic black men. And step by step they are trying to achieve all this. If you look at it from the dates that have been given, all those people have been killed. The killings have continued and it has never stopped. In August 11, 2014, Ezell Ford in Florence, California, was murdered. Ezell Ford was just 25 years old, mentally ill man. He had a mental illness. Ezell was shot 3 times, including once in the back by a white police officer. He was unarmed. Ezell was unarmed. Imagine, he was shot 3 times, and the last one was he was shot at his back. That is to tell you that that is not just accidental shooting. It is an execution. It is a clean execution. The investigation is still ongoing, but it has been placed on an investigative hold. So far, no charges have been filed against Charlton Vampire and Antonio Villagers, the 2 officers involved. As if it will not end, August 12, 2014, Danta Parker, Victoriaville in California. This young man was as well murdered, and Danta was just 36 years old. Yes, and he was a father of 5 children. Danta died in police custody after being repeatedly stormed by a teaser in San Bernardino County. The local investigation is still ongoing, but the NAACP has called for the federal government to take over, according to San Bernardino's son. And in November 13, 2014, Tanisha Anderson in Cleveland. Tanisha Anderson was murdered. She was 37 years old. It pains me a lot. It pains me to see innocent young people being murdered for an unjust cause. These are people with future, with determination. Imagine Tanisha at the age of 37 died after officer in Cleveland allegedly slammed her head on the pavement while taking her into custody. The officer slammed her head in a pavement. Just imagine the painful death that was given to Anita Anderson. Anderson family said she had bipolar and schizophrenia. The investigation into the case remains ongoing and no charges have been filed against the officer involved. Just imagine. In November 20th, 2014, Akia Goli in Brooklyn, New York. Akia Goli was just 28 years old. He was shot and killed by a police officer while walking in a dimly lit New York City public housing. He was walking with his girlfriend. Goli, who was unarmed, was pronounced dead at a hospital, New York Police Department. The New York Police Department Commissioner Bill Branton called the shooting an accidental discharge. Just imagine. After killing the innocent young man, they called it an accidental discharge. The officer, Rocky Peter Lang, was charged with second-degree manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, second-degree assault, reckless engagement, and 2 counts of officer misconduct. Yes, that is the only the only case so far that has been judged and given a satisfying pronouncement. And as if it was not enough, in November 2014, November 22nd, 2014, Tamariz in Cleveland was murdered. Tamariz was 12 years old. Tamariz was shot and killed by Cleveland police after officer mistook his toy gun for a real weapon. The police officer involved Timothy Lohman and Frank Grambach have not been charged. Rice's family has filed wrongful death lawsuit against the officer and the city of Cleveland. That one is still going on. And then December 2nd, 2014, Roman Brisbane. Roman Brisbane was 34 years and was shot and killed by a Phoenix police officer who mistook a pill bottle for a weapon. The officer, Mark Rain, was not charged following a probe by the Maricopa County Attorney officer, according to the New York Daily News. That officer was never charged, was not charged. Officer that kills was not charged at all. Just imagine a killer given the opportunity to live. That will warrant and give that killer another opportunity and another chance and the credibility to kill another again. As if that was not all, in December 30, 2014, Jeremy Reid in Broxton, New Jersey, was murdered. Jeremy Reid was 36 years old and killed by a police officer in Bridgeton, New Jersey. He was a passenger in a car driven by his friend, who was pulled over by the police. In addition, the video footage of the stop shows that an officer is heard claiming that there is a gun in the glove compartment, whereas there was nothing. The police shouted at Reid not to exit the car, but he did with his hands apparently in front of his chest. Then when the officer, Brigham Days and Roger Wilson opened fire, striking Reid, it was a misery. It was really painful. Reid was just with a bottle of pill, never armed, but he was shot at, he was fired at and killed and murdered by the police. Days and Wally were placed on administrative leave with pay for the ensuing investigation, which remains ongoing. That is the least they can do. The case remains ongoing. They never talk about it anymore. The shooting sparked protest and called for the state attorney general to also investigate. In March 6, 2015, Tony Robinson, Madison, Wisconsin. Tony Robinson was 19 years old, shot and killed by a Madison police officer who was responding to a report of someone disrupting traffic. Destruction of traffic is not a death sentence, but these police, they take advantage of every single opportunity, every single point, and execute a life, a soul. Police Robinson said, the police said Robinson allegedly assaulted the officer when he shot him 3 times. He said Robinson allegedly assaulted the officer, who then shot him 3 times. Robinson was unarmed. The investigation still remains going. In March 31st, 2015, Philip White, Vinland, New Jersey, was murdered. Philip White is 32 years old. He died in police custody in Vinland, New Jersey. They've executed him. Police has responded to a call about White acting erratically and called an ambulance because he appeared to be in medical distress. A violent encounter ensued, and the video footage appears to show a police dog beating White while he is on the ground. White was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The officer involved had not been charged as the investigation continues. April 2nd, 2015, Eric Harris, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Eric Harris is 44 years old and killed by a 73-year-old reserve deputy officer who allegedly mistook his own gun for a taser. The entire incident was captured on a dashcam video. The officer, Robert Bates, was charged with manslaughter. April 4th, 2015. Waiters Court, North Charleston, South Carolina. Waiters Court was 50 years old, was shot by a police officer while running away from a traffic stop for a broken tail light. Officer Michael Slager claimed Scott had taken his stun gun. Slager was subsequently fired and charged with murder after a video surfaced showing Scott running away. His back to the officer as Slager fired his gun. April 19, 2015, Frega Gray was murdered. Frega Gray was 25 years old, died of a spinal cord injury a week after he was arrested by Baltimore police. It's still unclear how Gray sustained the injury. Officers say he was stopped after fleeing unprovoked, upon noticing police present, and arrested for allegedly possessing a switchable. He was put in a police van, which is where the police say he suffered a medical emergency. So we are going to stop from here, then we'll continue in our next broadcast. For everybody that was able to watch the video to this time, please leave a comment on the comment section. We will communicate with you and we will send our present to you. Thank you once again for staying with us. We love you. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. God bless you.